peoples of Australia their unbroken ties to Aboriginal law, culture, and customs. We respect the traditional owners of the lands and waters we inhabit and acknowledge their elders past and present. We celebrate the enrichment of Aboriginal communities around Australia. We recognise the lasting impact of colonisation and dispossession. We salute those who have fought for the rights of First Peoples. Their legacy is our guiding light today and always.
I can't take it anymore!
Good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good morning, Blurtstars, wherever you are around the world. You are listening to the new Blurt.
You absolutely are listening to the new Blurt. Good evening to you. I am the Kegsta, under the weather, but am here and not letting the side down. Tonight I'm coming to you from Wurundjeri country, Kulin Nation of the Wurundjeri people. And Southern Chief's never ceded, always has been and always will be Aboriginal land. Now, as I said, I'm operating on about 3.5 cylinders out of a 6-cylinder vehicle. I thought I would just stipulate that, just in case you thought it may be less or more, and that wouldn't make any sense to what I just said. There could be a lot of rambling and weird shit tonight, so just so that you know already how I am feeling. And as you can tell, that gives you it right there. But anyway, Wencee's with us. He'll be with us in 2 seconds. Before we bring him in, I just want to let you know that we have a fantastic show tonight. Straight off the stick, as Wencee would say, we've got the Oilers making a fighting comeback. Can they repeat the history of the 4-3 win in this final series? Apparently that hasn't happened for 28 years, but who knows? Who knows? I don't always think the history has to repeat, so there you go. And then it's been pretty chilly across Australia this week. We're just going to have a look at what the temperatures came down to and where they are and who's freezing their nads off, as it were. I can tell you we are. And we've got popular babies' names at the moment, and they are not Shaznay and Trey, which I'm very happy to say. We'll look at the world's tallest bicycle. And in Trump Watch, Biden's got a new ad campaign to help beat Trump. We'll just have a wee look at, not the campaign video so much, although I may be able to get that and put it in the show notes, but just some information on what the campaign is tending to and what their idea is to be able to beat Trump, what their process of thought is, as it were. I've also got a little gift for the listeners right at the end of the show as well. And just so you know, because I'm going to say this at the onset rather than the end of the potty, all our links will be in the show notes. So just go to the show notes. All our links will be there. We'll have Indelible Indigenous tonight. Wencee's talking about the successful native title claim. And I am going to talk about the fact that they are going to be, looks like, reorging the Makaratta Commission. And if you're not sure what that is, you will when you listen to it. It was to do with the Uluru Statement, etc., etc. When the voice vote was on, gee whiz, I can't remember if it was last year or this year anymore. And anyway, when it was on, and it was part of the voice recognition, etc., etc. So we'll have a little bit of investigate into that. And then we'll wind up with Let's Get Technical. I'm going to talk about Alien Head, a.k.a. Musk, getting a little bit shitty with Apple. He's not very happy with them having AI in their new Apple devices, etc. And apparently he's not going to allow them to be in his vehicle. So we'll have a look at a bit of that. And Wencee's going to talk to us about what Meta is using AI for. Meta being formerly known as Facebook, as my title says, they can suck my wang. They've been getting really unruly at the moment. Facebook. They've got a new thing with this StreamYard, the service that we use for this potty. And apparently, if you don't have any more than I think it's 100 followers or something, and your account's only so many days old or whatever, you're not allowed to stream via Facebook anymore, which suits us in a way because we don't use Facebook very much at all. We are very much more YouTube and Twitter and Threads and everything else. So we really don't do a lot through that platform, and that suits us. But with that, absolutely no further ado whatsoever, we have the co-host, the one that is going to hopefully just keep this whole rambling show together. Wencee.
Welcome to my frostbitten extremities. It is freaking cold up here in the Sunshine State, in inverted commas. Yes, just like you, I am freezing my butt off. I have blankets on me. I have multiple pairs of socks at the moment. You name it. I'm trying to keep warm, and I've got a heater on. Unheard of in sunny Queensland, but that's okay. But before I do continue, I do want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which that we meet here today, the Jagera and Turrbal people of the Mianjin Nation, and pay my respect to elders past, present, and future.
Well, Wencee, do tell, because I can tell you what am I getting on our oh, that can't be right.
What's that?
I had a look at my excuse me. I had a look at my what do you call them? Where you get the weather? What's that called? The
Forecast?
oh, I told you. Yeah, that's it. See, I told you. Just words are just going to elude me all night. I can just see that's going to be the way it's going to be. Yeah, so on my forecast app down the bottom, it's telling me it's 7 degrees.
Ah, but what's the feel like temperature?
Well, in the house at the moment, it feels more like 18 because I've got 3 layers on.
Yeah, true.
But
even with the heater on in here, it feels cold.
I just turned our heater off for no other reason. I don't want to pay the gas bill. This is bloody expensive.
Yeah, true.
So we just try to wrap up as much as we can.
Yeah.
But actually, talking about wrap up and cold, it looks like the Oilers aren't wanting to wrap up too quick in the NHL finals for the Stanley Cup. And right. Obviously on the ice is particularly cold, but they had a chilling comeback, as it were, in their last game. Do tell.
Oh, they did. As we spoke about last week, the Oilers were 3 down, it's first to 4 matches to win. And,
you mean they lost? You mean they lost 3 games out of 7 so far?
Correct. So
right.
They were 3 down. So they were 3 down, and game 4. I think a lot of us were going, oh, okay, here we go. How much are they going to lose by? But no, sure enough, they made a comeback, beating the Panthers 8-1, which in Edmonton.
Is nuts. That's nuts.
Yeah,
you never hear scores like that. That's crazy.
No. Yeah, that's big.
It's almost like the
score.
Panthers laid down and thought they were going to just walk all over them or something.
Yeah, and luckily they didn't have a comeback in that match. Connor McDavid and others.
Is he the captain? Connor McDavid?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's the captain.
Has he now just passed Wayne Gretzky of having more assists than anyone ever? Is that in one game, or is that throughout his whole career?
I think throughout his whole career.
Wow.
So pretty
big. Jesus, yeah, it is. Yeah, bigger than Gretzky. Wow.
Yeah, it's got to be good. And so he did really well there. Goalkeeper, I think his name is Stuart Skinner, made 32 saves and only let 1 through. So the last time that a team in NHL came back from 3-0 to win 4-3 were the 1942 Toronto Maple Leafs.
Wow, so that's way more than 28 years.
Yeah. So what's that? Yeah. Too far for me to calculate in my simple mind.
59 with 24, so 83.
Yeah, there you go. 84 years, because we're in an even year. 82 years.
82 years.
Yeah, so
that's a long time.
Pretty much a once in a lifetime achievement if it happens again. The game 5 is happening Tuesday night their time, so 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here in Australia. So if you have KO or have other methods of watching it, go watch it. Should be an
And
exciting match.
And even if you can't watch it, I think you can at least catch up with the scores on NHL.com. So,
Oh yeah, good point.
there's quite a few different little, allegedly illegal ways of watching, but you need a VPN, you have to sign up, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't sign up for KO because Murdoch owns it, and I won't touch anything as a rule that he owns. As much as I can, but I understand it's very hard to watch it any other way. So there you go. But I do have a little gift for Oilers fans, because this was a little Panther fan before Game 4.
Okay,
And
Panther fan, so not Oilers.
No, Oilers. This is a Panther fan. I think this kid is like 12. And I kid you not, I think he has been drinking Monster something all afternoon, and he's been watching far too much UFC. And when I play this, you will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Than this young Panther supporter.
You're here in supporting Panthers. What does this mean to you? This is a monumental moment in my life. I have been here since day one of my birth, 2011. And I just can't wait to see my team happily host the Cup. Wow! Let's go!
I don't know, this 5-hour energy drink. What's going on?
That is hilarious.
I told you.
They might want to start checking
That kid, seriously.
This kind of behavior appears to be a Panther pandemic.
That's
yes,
funny. That was funny.
So much energy. If only you could harness that for good.
Yes, I imagine you can't. I don't know.
God, you can almost run a small city with his energy. Electricity.
No, you could, couldn't you? You could. The only thing I saw from the Oilers side of things that made the news is that there was an Oilers fan that flashed.
What? Flash?
Yes, it was all over YouTube, and then it was withdrawn.
Right.
And then apparently you couldn't get it on YouTube anymore, but there was let's say slightly not politically correct sites were happy to have a chat with her to see if she wanted to be. They wanted her to be on their show.
Right.
Now, whether she took up their options or not, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Right. Interesting. I had no idea about that one.
No, well, it wasn't like I was searching for it. It was just I was looking for Oilers stuff, and it just came up, and I'm just like, oh, well, that's interesting. So you've got this nutbag from the Panthers, and then you've got you've got a bit of flashing going from the Oilers. And I'm like, okay, fair enough.
And was that? It wouldn't have been on the ice rink, so she would be in the crowd?
Yeah, it was in the crowd.
In the crowd.
It was it was in the crowd, and I think it was before. I think it was the game that got them into the Stanley Cup finals. I think it was the game.
So pre-finals.
Yes, I think it was.
Yep.
I think it was.
Interesting.
But yeah. So we're riding that one, and I mean, if they can get 8-1 once, I mean, I know they're in Florida, but isn't it the same ice? I mean, isn't it just ice?
Yeah.
I mean, aren't they just exactly the same size and everything else? It's like
it's just one side of the country to the other. So instead of West Coast, you're on the East Coast. Unfortunately, you're in Florida, but Trump land.
Yeah. But, big unfortunate there.
Yeah, but obviously the crowd will be massively against you compared to being on home territory. But if the Panthers were able to win in enemy territory, hopefully Oilers can do the same.
True.
Keep this series alive. So
true.
You never know.
Hopefully.
Maybe we can call the Oilers just like the Magpies, making a comeback from an almost impossible defeat.
Oh yes, true.
Near defeat. I mean.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, that was an interesting, very, very weird game. That was.
We're talking AFL for those playing at home, and
we are.
Yes,
we are talking AFL, and we're at a ground that we hate. And in AFL, it does make a difference. The
Mm.
MCG is definitely something we love playing on. So
Yeah. And what was the
but,
stadium they were playing at? Marble, which they
Marble.
don't like.
Yeah, they don't like
Yeah.
Marble. I don't like Marble. Last time I went there, I was vowed I'm not going again, and I'm not. Yeah. I mean, I'd go and see someone like a concert or something, maybe, but I wouldn't see. I wouldn't see football there.
No,
It's just
no.
there's no atmosphere. I mean, yeah. Anyway,
Too chilly?
we digress. No, it's really, really
No?
warm because they shut the
Oh,
roof.
okay.
No, shut the roof. You're not cold.
Oh, right. So they have a
yeah.
closed roof there, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. So yeah, no, it's it's a different experience, not one I particularly encourage. But what I was going to say is, you were talking about Florida before. I was listening to something today, just digressing as usual. 93% of the guns that are used for crime in New York are coming out of states like Florida.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
93%. And the reason for that is because their gun laws are so lapsed that they can get them in to New York.
Yeah.
Because they can buy them there, have them be registered, and then use them in New York.
And then move them interstate.
Yeah. So
American-made guns, I assume?
I would doubt highly not. I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah, don't know where the guns are made.
No, I don't know either. I'm not a big aficionado on guns at all.
No.
I'm trying to think if we've got any segments where we would. I suppose the only place we would do anything on that would be Party in the USA if we had a look at it. Might do that one time, actually. It might be worth doing. It could be worth doing. Anyway, you were talking about how chilly it is across Oz at the moment. Do you have any show and tell on that, or do you have some information? Or
so there's an unusually slow-moving pressure system going across Australia, which is causing many parts of Oz to suffer their coldest temperatures in decades. June records in Victoria and South Australia were broken. For example, Horsham topped 8.1 degrees as a maximum.
You are kidding.
Yep. First time in 27 years. 8.3 in Hopetoun, in Victoria. 8.3 Neil, Victoria. 8.3 Charlton in Victoria. 10.1 degrees. That's warm. 10.1 degrees in Robe, South Australia. That's double digits. You don't need a jumper for that.
10.1 in Robe, because it gets really hot there too, stupidly so.
Oh, exactly.
Wow.
And overnight, apparently in parts of Queensland, southeast Queensland, got to minus 6.9 feels like temperature. So I'm just going to quickly show you.
Hold on, just back the truck up there. Did you say Queensland got to 6.9?
Minus 6.9.
Queensland?
Negative 6.9.
What part of Queensland?
Yes. I think it was in the where Apple Country and the what's it called, the marble granite, the granite belt, which is Stanthorpe, south of Brisbane, southwest of Brisbane. So there's Brisbane and around here somewhere. So see this really light blue.
Yeah.
So I've got a map here for those listening on the podcast.
Yeah.
Map of Australia.
Links will be in the show notes.
A lot of Australia is blue or aqua.
Yes.
I hope that's the right colours.
Water, I assume.
Yes, which also means cold. So very light blue is minus 3 to 0 degrees. So there's quite a few of those areas around Canberra, northeast of Victoria, and parts of Queensland, as you can see in that map.
Check out Hobart.
Yeah, that's just light aqua. the whole state.
The whole state is minus 6 according to you.
Yeah, is that minus 6? I don't know what colour.
Minus. Wow, it's anywhere between,
somewhere between
0 and minus 6.
Yeah.
My
God. Something like that.
Wow.
So very chilly. So it's due to end in a few days' time. So we'll get to the winter solstice in 3 days' time. We'll still be going through this cold snap. So probably come this weekend, hopefully things will warm up, get to double digits in inverted commas. Yeah, so most states, including even WA, is experiencing some of this cold weather, and they're getting more rain and gusty winds as well. So yeah, it's not looking great to be in Australia at the moment. I think heading north of the equator would be pretty good at this time of year right now.
That's nuts. I'm looking at that map, and there is not one. And I'm sure in years gone past, and I could be wrong, but I'm sure in years gone past, in June, you would have seen some yellow or orange somewhere on that map.
Somewhere. Even Darwin, you can see Darwin, which is normally quite hot this time of year, or warm.
Yeah, you can
It's
see.
not even hitting not even 20, 21 even. Might be getting to that.
Yeah, it's right on the coast, isn't it?
Yeah, so
Or is that
right
no?
at the
Maybe
top.
that's another color. Yeah. What color is that? It's
a
green, isn't it?
green.
Yeah.
It's a green, so
Wow.
it's somewhere between 18 and 24.
Oh wow, that's a good time for us to go and visit.
Yeah. Yes.
We
So
don't like it
hopefully
too hot, so that's perfect.
hopefully in a month's time when you're heading up this way, that it's going to be a little bit warmer than that.
Yes, it would be nice, because otherwise it's going to be very crap.
Yeah.
Because
I
I
can't
don't want to
promise
go.
anything.
I can't believe I don't want to go from cold to cold. That just sounds
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I know. Lucky you haven't booked your trip for now. But yes, let's hope in a month's time we'll have more
Yes,
favorable
definitely.
weather.
Lucky
Mind
we
you,
haven't done it for now.
having said that, the nights have been very cold here, where it feels like close to zero in parts of Brisbane. But during the daytime, because it's been sunny, once you're out and it's clear, it's actually quite pleasant. So you're not going to feel it that much during the day.
Yeah, no, I imagine that's probably true. But yeah, well, thanks for that, Wencee. That's beautifully encouraging news there, to know that we're going to freeze our nads off for another little while.
A few more days.
Yes,
then you can
that's
thaw
lovely.
out over the weekend.
That's great. Well, it's funny you say Thor, because that is a name that is not on the list of best baby names.
Oh, wow.
Popular in Australia. But
considering all the Chris Hemsworth aficionados and
yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah, fans out there.
Oh yes, there'd be many of them. I'm sure that Chris Hemsworth is many a Marvel fan dude's crush. Although they're not gay, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be their man crush, I reckon. So
yeah. I'd be happy with half of his muscles.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Any really, just take a few. But yeah. I've got a few years on him now, so you know. But anyway.
Yeah, true.
But Noah Henry and Leo are among the runner-up for boys' names for 2023, and Amelia and Charlotte were popular among the girls.
Right, Amelia and Charlotte, and what was the?
And I really like those names. I think they're lovely. Leo and Henry and Noah. I like all those names too.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Theodore Hudson
would be popular.
No, well, they're sort of old names, and I quite like the old names. So,
yeah.
Theodore Hudson and Luca are among the top 10 most popular names for boys in Australia for the first time. Oliver remains the country's most popular male name after a decade on top, and longer in the top 10. So I quite like Oliver, actually. It's a nice old name. I'm not a traditionalist in many ways, but I do like old names.
Yeah. Classic names.
Yeah, I do. I definitely do. Not like Donald, though. I hate Donald. I really don't like that name at all.
No, it's been ruined, hasn't it?
Yes, it's just been, yes. It's been emasculated. It's been, you name it, it's had it done to it. So I've got a little show and tell here, actually. I know you
Oh,
love a
okay.
graph. So
Oh,
I might
graphs.
just
Love
stick a graph
graphs.
up. Stick a graph up. Here we go.
Gently,
Here we
please.
go. Fair enough, too. Fair enough, too. So there you can see Oliver, 2019 to 23. So number one the whole time.
Wow.
And number two the whole time is Noah. But now you can
Oh,
see the fluctuations where they've come in the last few years,
Mm.
etc. So Leo has come from 9th to 4th.
Jeez. It's gone all over the
But
place. Yeah.
it has. But in 2022, Leo was 9th. Sorry,
Oh,
Henry was
Leo.
9th.
Yeah.
Yeah, Henry was 9th. And it's gone to 3rd. So,
Third.
wow.
Wow.
In 2020, that's amazing. So in 2 years,
Yeah.
Henry's gone from 9th to. I don't know if I'm a big Henry fan. I don't know about that one. Not sure about that. But
So Isla was female.
yes, well,
The most
Isla
popular.
Fisher.
Oh, yeah. True.
Yeah.
What
So
other
I
Islas are there?
got to be honest, I don't know. I only know Isla Fisher.
Same.
But girls' names are also less concentrated. About 1,300 girls were named Isla and Charlotte, but closer to 2,000 boys were named Oliver and Noah. So when all the names are grouped together, girls' names tend to rank lower and make up a small percentage of all names. Guarding Australia is using the sex category assigned in the original data. So obviously, yeah, they're not taking in consideration binary and those sort of things. It's going straight from original data. But I imagine when you're trying to do something like that, it'd be very hard to do it any other way. So,
And not all states allow the sex to be changed. They can have the gender changed, but not the sex.
yes, exactly right. 100% correct. 100% correct. And you would be right across that. So that is good to know. And something I hadn't talked to you about, I'll only talk about it briefly here. And I was going to talk about the world's tallest bicycle. I'll let that go to next week. But just what I did want to talk about is the awareness session that we had, the LGBTQI awareness session.
yeah.
I don't think I discussed it with you. It was done by a trans person that came out in 2014. And it was really, really interesting. It was done at my work, and it was done really, really well. And I learned a lot out of it. You sort of think you know a little bit when you do a bit of reading, and you've got friends like yourself and etc. Who's got kids in the LGBTQI community, etc. So you do learn, you do ask, but again, just still learning and finding out things. And interesting things that she said, because she likes to be called she, is that it's interesting. She gave us a way of addressing audiences, and I'd never really thought about it before, ever. And what she was saying was that you, instead of saying ladies and gentlemen, which obviously could be
Triggering.
I can't find the word. Yes, that, but non-intentionally offensive.
Yeah, true. Yep. Okay.
Because obviously we're made up of so much more than that now. Well, we have been for a long time, but it's far more integrated in society now. And people are getting aware and blah, 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 blah. But anyway, she gave lots of different ways of addressing the audience. And I'd never even thought about it before, which was you could say people.
Yeah. Okay.
You could say folks. You could say team. You could say colleagues. And it was interesting how many different ways she came up with addressing an audience. Yeah. And yet the only one we only really ever think about as straight cis people is ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
So
boys and girls.
Boys and girls.
Young kids.
Exactly right. So it's really interesting how indoctrinated we are, even at our old age now, and how far back it went.
Yeah. When you're growing up with those terms to use when you're addressing strangers or a crowd, it's hard to get rid of after many decades, but it is slowly changing. And obviously when you've got lived experience, you tend to learn a lot quicker.
Yes, absolutely.
As I have.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it really just comes down to education and acceptance. And yeah, the people don't change. It's just the terms, the pronouns, whatever. That's the only thing that's different. Doesn't mean the person's a different person. So yeah.
No, absolutely, and that's 100% correct. And I think that's the that is the crux. That's the point. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
They're just a person that, unlike you and I, want to be known as either this sex or that sex or no sex, and that's totally 100% their prerogative to do that.
Exactly.
You know, and it's for us to respect that choice. And really, it's not hard. It's just not hard.
Exactly. Just respect the person.
All you middle-aged white men out there that seem to have a problem with this, if you don't have a problem with it, that's great. But if you do, get yourself educated, because it's really not hard. Just treat people as they would like to be treated. It's really easy. But one thing I did want to say is that, and I found this really interesting and very sad, is that she came out in 2014. And the reason she came out in 2014 as a trans person is because if she came out in 2013, she could have been sacked at work.
Oh, right. So something changed in the work environment?
Yeah, there was a bill passed.
Ah.
She wasn't protected in 2013. But the bill passed, she was protected in 2014.
Right. Yeah. I had no idea. So that was a Victorian law?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Wow.
I believe so.
Interesting.
Yeah. It was. So I thought I'd just feed that back to the listeners. It was particularly interesting. Really, really interesting. And we had quite a few people on the call. And it was a few tears and different things, because it was pretty emotional. It really was.
Yeah, of course.
So, but it was well worth it, and I look forward to doing another one. But I got to be honest, I was thinking at the time that one of these types of seminars would actually almost nearly be better's not. That's not the right term. I don't mean better, but it could be a different opportunity for someone who's not trans but is educated, and maybe even cis, male or whatever, but they're educated in the space and they totally understand and respect the space, etc., etc. To address people that totally are not in that space, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Because then they've got a sort of a base where they were, and they can say, well, this is where you can get to.
Yeah.
If you really,
exactly.
if you really want to.
Looking at it. Yeah.
So
that's a good idea.
But yeah, well,
so many different ways to tackle that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different ways to tackle this guy too, I tell you.
11,780 miles to win the election. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes.
Losers only. It's Trump Watch.
It is Trump Watch. He
China
is everywhere as usual, and I thought what I'd do this week. It's been really interesting. He's been trying to. He's been trying to get Biden to force him to have like a cognitive test. And he was saying how he was saying publicly how he had this cognitive test, and he was calling out the doctor that did the cognitive test on him, and he's so stupid, or maybe cognitively in disrepair, that he didn't know what the doctor's name was and got it wrong.
Yeah. Why does that not surprise me about Orange Head?
No, it does not. It does not at all. And I do have a gift. I have a gift to the listeners at the end of the show, right at the end of the show. So if you hang around right to the end of the show, you will get the gift. And the gift is what I will tell you is no. The only thing I will say, it's a little video sung by a guy that's got a beautiful voice, and it's to do with Trump. Let's put it that way.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it, because I don't know what you're going to show, so it'll be news to me. It'll be it'll
be a nice little gift. It'll be all right. It'll be good. Now I just need to check what have we got? Oh yes, that's what I wanted to show you as well. So this is something that has just just come off the presses, as it were. Jack Black has endorsed.
Nice.
Yes, my man, JB. So I'm not
always like that guy. I like him even more now.
I'm a massive JB fan. So I've got a little bit of JB talking here. Just give me a second and I'll get that in. Just need to get the timing right. Otherwise, you'll get a guy that looks like he is from the Amish. Not to say there's anything wrong with the Amish whatsoever, but he's a weird-looking guy. It's got to be said. There you go. All right, here we go. So I'll get that. You'll know exactly what I mean when I say that. So I'll get that up.
I did see part of that video. I haven't seen all of this. What you're about to show, but...
Okay, cool. Just give me a second. I'll just try it again. Sorry about that. Just having a little bit of fun getting it in the right spot. Right, okay. We should be good in a minute. So let's just get ourselves there. Where are we? Right, okay. Coming up.
We are live.
Okay. We are live. I realise that. It is and can be a problem. So let's listen to this dude. What we don't have is sound at the moment, which is fine. I can sort that out. All right, this is a problem because I can't get there fast enough. Yay!
The wonders of
live.
My manager called me and said George Clooney and Julia Roberts wanted me to help out the president and speak here tonight, and I said I am in. When and where? And thank you. And then they said, Jack, we know how busy you are. You don't have time. Look at all the other events that are happening tonight that you already turned down. MC at the Fliegelman Bat Mitzvah. The opening of the new Jack in the Box in Oxnard. Judge at the second annual Imperial Valley Avocado Festival. You don't see that on Meryl Streep's resume. I said, I know I turned them down, but my president needs me. Thank you. And then they hit me with the big one. They said, Jack, you can't go. You have nothing to wear. Your good suit is in the cleaners. Well, were they wrong? Because I had this to wear. My kick-ass American flag overalls. Most patriotic outfit of all times. And that shut him up. There wasn't much they could say after that. And when the president wins in November... I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a sweet shout out in his victory speech for what I gave up to be here. Because when democracy is at stake, Jack Black answers the call. Mr. President, you're welcome. That's not the president. That's not Judge. It's a random dude. But I thought it would look better if I said.
I swear to God, Jack Black is the only person who can possibly pull off a ridiculous outfit and somehow still make it look good. And you got to love Jack Black.
Yes, that party's right. You do have to love Jack Black. There's no doubt about that. So I thought that was a nice little bit there. So yeah, you've got. I mean, if JB, come on.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Who was it? Jack Black, Meryl Streep. Who was the other third person? Between those three.
George Clooney, I think.
George Clooney. Between those three, surely Trump's got no chance.
Well, you wouldn't have thought so. I mean, he's got some pretty dodgy people that follow him. I got to be honest. I mean, celebrity-wise, they're pretty bad. But anyway,
I think we need that young kid from the Panthers to also chip in and put his oomph and energy into the campaign.
What I might do? I might see if I can split a little video with Jack and that kid and see if I can get a little bit happening. I might work on that when I'm feeling a bit better. That could be a bit of fun. So I thought I'd just quickly go through highlighting Trump's legal issues. As I said to you before, he is a convicted criminal, but he's not technically a felon yet until July the 11th. So we are counting that day. There must be a timer for that somewhere. I will find that timer and I will get the link. And anyway, and fighting, blah, blah, blah. This is the first time President Joe Biden's campaign has used former President orange-haired legal trouble in a television ad. So the ad's part of a 50 million ad buy for June. It'll air on television, internet connected TV, blah, 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 blah. 30-second spot begins with black and white images of Trump entering the Manhattan courthouse where he's convicted of falsifying business records, following by contrast with Biden's achievements. Well, it's not hard. He's not in jail. You know, I mean...
Well, you know where the smart money should be placed on which person, but it is America we're talking about.
Well, it's interesting because Orangehead went to some CEOs the other day, and I think they must be waking up slightly. And he said, "Oh, I'm going to cut business tax, company tax to 20%." And they said, "How did you come up with 20%?" "Oh, it's a nice round number." He's talking to CEOs.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just honestly, seriously,
he just makes shit up, doesn't he?
He's just so dumb, and people just fall for his shite. Does my head in. Anyway, the narrator continues. This election is being a convicted criminal who's only out for himself, president. Blah 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 blah. Trump's campaign claiming it amounts to election interference. They pointed to polls suggesting Biden's message struggles in key battlegrounds. Trump campaign spokesman Caroline Levitt stated, contrast between President Trump's strength and success versus crooked Joe Biden's weakness. I love the fact they call Joe Biden crooked because he just had to make some shit up. Like none of it has been, absolutely none of it is being confirmed in any way, shape, or form. So it's just they've had so much time to find anything on Biden, and well, they haven't. So it's obvious
there's nothing to find.
I mean, Jesus Christ. Anyway, at a Connecticut fundraiser, he referred to Trump as a convicted felon, which, as we said, technically isn't true, and criticized Trump's assault on the American justice system. Former President Obama also commented on the normalization of disqualifying behavior at a Biden fundraiser in Los Angeles. I think that's the biggest one too, the normalization of this behavior. It's pretty amazing. But anyway, we need to get a bit of a move on. We need to kick our own ass a bit, and I need to crack on. So I'll do this, and we'll get the blood bank to have a chat to us, and we'll be back with Indelible Indigenous.
Nice.
When you give blood, you're more than just a blood donor. You're the lifeblood of Australia. Search Give Blood and book your donation with Australian Red Cross Lifeblood today. Give life. Give blood.
The Australia Institute produces high-quality research that has real-world impact, whether it's revealing the $10.3 billion in fossil fuel subsidies provided by federal and state governments last year, or our long-standing research advocating for a federal anti-corruption commission with real teeth. We change minds. To donate, head on over to australiainstitute.org.au.
Oh, that's a bit of a bit of a jolt.
Yeah, just stopped suddenly.
Yeah, no fade out or anything. That's I don't know whoever created that was not feeling very well. That's not very good.
The electrical cord must have been pulled out of that jukebox.
It sounds like it, doesn't it? It's exactly what it sounds like.
For those young people, a jukebox is an electronic device that you used to be able to put coins in, and a record would play your favorite music.
And if you can find some old refurbished 60s cafes, and there's a few about, you can find those jukeboxes, and they are so cool.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? You press the letter and the number, and it'll scroll to the music, and then record will come out and start playing.
I don't know if they're able to take cash now, though. I'm not sure if I think they had to change them so that they can take a tap on or whatever. But I'm sure there are a few of those around still. So
yeah, shouldn't be too hard to convert that.
No.
Out there.
Very much so. But this was a segment about Indigenous, not about jukeboxes. So go for it.
Correct. We digress as always.
Yes,
for me, I'm going to talk about a successful ruling of native title that was granted yesterday to some Indigenous First Nations people north of Brisbane. It's the Kabi or Kabi people. Yes. Was that an applause? Did I hear an applause?
Yes, it definitely was an applause.
It was very faint. I didn't quite hear that. So the Kabi people got a successful ruling, and they'll be taking, I wouldn't say control, but they will hold the rights now to areas, a large area. It's around about 100,000 square kilometres.
So what you're saying is they are getting to become the custodians of this land again.
That's right. So they're slowly, obviously, there's plenty of native title court cases across the nation where the Indigenous are trying to get back that custodianship of their land. And it doesn't mean that they will control urbanized areas, your house, land that has leasehold on it and things like that. I'll quickly show you what land this one is covering. Wrong button. Click that one. And no, not that one. That one. Okay, so here is a map of, let me zoom back out. All right, can you see that map?
Yep, very good.
Okay, so that blue area is the title that they've gained. Redcliffe down the very bottom is one of the most northern suburbs of Brisbane. I think it's part of Brisbane. It's about a 40-minute drive north of Brisbane City. You got Deception Bay there as well.
Yeah.
And Caboolture is just north of Redcliffe, which is basically the start of the Sunshine Coast. So that's the area we're talking about. So the coast goes along Caloundra, Maroochydore. Don't think it goes as...
So all of that blue area that we're seeing on the map, if you're listening to this in the pod, the links will be in the show notes, so you can have a look at the map if you want to. So where you're showing the blue area on the map, is that where the native title has been regained?
Correct. So that whole blue area. So it includes Noosa, Gympie. You can see the Gympie there. It doesn't quite extend as far as Maryborough, which is just north of Gympie, a few hours drive north. It does go inland a little bit as well. So it's a fair chunk of land.
Yeah, it is a fair chunk of land. What does it actually mean?
What's that? Kabi?
No. What does it mean? They are now custodians of this land. Does that mean they can do with it what they want?
Yeah, so pretty much that's what they can do on areas that includes national state parks.
That's good.
But some of the things that they want to do is reintroduce learnings or start teaching the young kids especially, and us, the rest of us as well, but traditional practices like back burning, cold burning, and managing the land the way that they've done for millennia. So that's one of the things that they want to get back to.
And what does it mean for the towns like, say, Noosa, etc.?
Nothing changes at all.
Right. Okay.
Because there's leasehold there, and that's still part of the Commonwealth. So they're not going to take any of that. So if you hear of anyone saying, "Oh, we're going to lose our rights to backyards,"
we'll
and
hear
shit
it.
like
We'll
that,
hear that easily in the next few days. I guarantee it'll be in the papers.
Oh, for sure.
Anything you like.
Yeah. So in those areas that they've claimed back, there are plenty of sacred and ceremonial sites, including Bora rings that were used for gatherings and dancing and ceremonies and things like that. So there's plenty of history that they'll regain in terms of being able to manage those landmarks. It's taken them nearly 30 years. They started this process, the native title claim, in the mid-90s.
Wow.
And the Native Title Act was introduced in 1993 after
Eddie Mabo
decision.
Yeah.
That's right. So,
that was Keating, I think.
Sounds about right. I can't remember when Howard came in. It was soon after.
96. I know it very well. Very well.
There you go. So native title doesn't exist on freehold land, and the native title holders can't access that land to exercise any of the rights that were granted to them. As I said, your house is still safe. Any public land that has construction on it or anything else is safe. It extends not far away from the coastline, so it doesn't go kilometers out into the ocean. So it is very close to the ocean.
So what we're talking about is we're talking about they're now getting to be custodians of this land that was so sacred to them, and we're talking about the national parks and the coastline, etc., etc. So as we know, so many bad practices have happened up our coastlines from different too much fishing in areas, etc., etc., etc. And they've got, such a good knowledge of that area and that coastline. So do you think that they'll be now sort of been putting in place practices to sort of reinitiate species in those areas, or get the fauna and the flora in those areas sort of productive again? Or I'm not exactly sure of that coastline. I mean, I've driven up a little. Oh, this is Queensland. No, I haven't driven up it, so I don't know.
Good question.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. There's nothing that wasn't stated in this article on the ABC website.
Right.
But they are looking at creating new education hubs in various state parks in that area to re-educate the First Nations, as well as visitors from around the country or around the world who come around. So there'll be quite positive change there. Nothing negative about it. So let's not believe anything that some people may introduce as a result of this.
No, it's the old don't jump at shadows, Just
exactly.
Watch what happens, and I'm sure it can only be good personally. Because I mean, we've done a beautiful job fucking up the planet. So the only ones that haven't done that is the Indigenous. So we've just got so much to learn.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays in the next few months or years. It's
a long time to wait, isn't it?
Yeah, it is 30 years, and
30 years.
Now they've got it forever, unless there's a change of government, and who knows, they might contest it. But let's hope it never gets to that. And they can continue control, or being able to look after the land that they have had for tens of thousands
millennia,
of years.
As you say. Absolutely.
So definitely a good story.
No, it is a good story. No, I do too. I think it's fantastic. It's great you brought it to the new Blurt. And another good story is that Albo, our Prime Minister, is going to, it looks like it's going to focus on the Makaratta Commission. And if you're not sure what the Makaratta Commission is, it's all about how the Indigenous have like a contract to how they're going to have a process to work out truth, treaty, etc., etc. So the Makaratta Commission will sort of oversee that, and I think Makaratta itself means obviously it's an Indigenous word for First Nations word for I'm sure it's conversation or something along those lines. But I'll do a bit of homework, and I should have had it this week, but just not feeling 100% right, so I haven't got there. But I will find out exactly what it stands for next week. But needless to say, he announced that he aims to discuss a way forward on Indigenous policy, which is good because everything's got a bit flat and silent ever since the Voice referendum was voted down by more than half the country that seriously just don't know how to read. But anyway, very, very, very disappointed in more than half the country. Calls for a new agenda. So key advocates for the referendum are urging the government to quickly outline a new agenda. They emphasise the need to honour the Prime Minister's election night pledge to implement Ulleru's statement from the heart in full. Statement includes 3 elements: voice, treaty, and truth. Well, that's a problem because we know the voice hasn't gone through. So we've only got the truth and treaty left that can definitely still be looked at. And that's what the Makaratta Commission is all about. So it tended to oversee the truth and treaty. So Albanese noted the Uluru statement was the result of years of Indigenous-led community. We talked about this quite a lot on this show at the time. The Uluru statement came in 2017, I believe.
Something like that.
I think it was Megan. I think it was Megan Davis. I think that's right.
Yeah, she's one of the writers,
architects.
Architects of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And referendum advocates have expressed frustration over the perceived slow progress on the new agenda. It's what we were just talking about before. But at least they started having these chats about the new Makaratta Commission, and they can go forwards with it. So Thomas Mayo, who was a prominent Voice supporter for the referendum, stressed the importance of maintaining political will and advancing the Makaratta Commission. The Greens are developing a policy to propose a Federal Truth and Justice Commission. Greens Senator Dorinda Cox urged Labor to fulfil its pledges regarding truth and treaty, emphasising the need for recognition and reconciliation, which we obviously already know. Despite the referendum's defeat, she affirmed the relevance of these pillars in achieving better outcomes for Indigenous people, which obviously we know that will be the case. But there was a tiny bit here that actually did talk about Megan Davis. Yeah, the Uluru Dialogue, led by Professor Megan Davis and Pat Anderson. That was the other one, Pat Anderson.
Pat Anderson, yeah.
Another very, very smart and quite an old. She's very much First Nations elder, and super smart and be super sad. And she said that if the voice went down, that was it. She wasn't. And you haven't heard from her, so she's been true to her word so far. So
there's only so much you can fight, I think. So
I think you're right, my friend. Look, my friend, you're going to have to just have a chat for a second because I am so parched. I need to get some water.
Okay, you go do that, and we might need to cut this out at some point, but we will pause deliberations here for a short break. So, yes, very interesting what's happening with the Makaratta Commission, and we hope that this will come through in a positive way, and let's hope we don't have too many negative outcomes or commentary from the external people who have no idea what they're going through. So we will just wait until the Kegsta is back. Shouldn't take him too long. For those listening on the podcast, this will be edited out. Radio silence. too much longer.
Hello.
And he's back.
I wouldn't normally do that, but how I'm feeling, I couldn't hardly speak at all.
That's all good. We'll just cut this out in the podcast as well as the video.
Yes. Well, the wonders of technology, which is a very, very good segue to...
Hang on, you might need to put your music back on.
To...
Let's get
Blurtstar says, let's get technical.
The human has been neutralized.
Yes, one of my favorite things.
It is quite funny.
So let's get tech this week. Tesla CEO threatens to ban Apple devices. So Alien Head, Musk, is throwing his toys out of the pram, getting quite upset. But they would be very expensive toys because he's just, it hasn't been passed yet, but he's asking for a $56 billion salary by Tesla.
For himself.
For him via Tesla shareholders.
Bloody hell, how can you get I don't understand how.
Don't even
happen. Yeah.
Well, it's all to do with the price of shares and blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, it's complete bullshit. And the shares of Tesla have gone down by I think 60% over the last year or so. I was listening and reading the other day. Apparently, there's 50,000 Teslas sitting in a showroom somewhere, not sold. I can't remember where it was. Apparently, there was enough Teslas there you could see them from the moon. Apparently, so.
And you know why that is? Why they're not selling as much as they used to?
Go for it.
It's because the Chinese made EVs have surpassed the technology, and they're much cheaper. And so, so people are buying those, not just in China, but around the world. So in Australia, we've got, what is it, BYD? They're a big one. MG is another one. That's all Chinese owned and made now, not British.
No, not at
brands? Oh, what's the other one? Yeah, there's at least two others here.
Polestar, is that Chinese? Is Polestar Chinese?
It's Chinese, yes. That used to be, that came out of Volvo, but I read about it recently, and it's actually owned and managed and built in China.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. I mean, most of the stuff that goes into Alien Head's cars are coming out of China as well. So, but I think they're meant to be made in America, though. I think that's the thing. They are made in America, are they? Are they actually assembled in America, the Teslas?
I think they might be, but I think a lot of components still come from China and other parts.
Yeah, pretty sure that's correct. Sure that's correct.
Yeah.
But anyway, his salary hasn't been 100% confirmed yet, because apparently I think there is a Supreme Court or something that is stepping in that's not happy about it. So I might follow that a little bit. And
I hope it doesn't pass.
Yeah, you and me both. You and me both, my friend. You and me both, because I think it's absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah.
I just read something the other day. There was a company, I can't remember which it was. I wish I knew. I should know. It was a pretty popular company. Anyway, they just sacked 1,000 employees. It's an American company. Right. They just sacked 1,000 employees. The CEO is on 27.6 million. Jeez. And they made 23 billion in profit last year or some bullshit. Wow. It's just rubbish. It's honestly to God. Yeah. Seriously. Talk about not give a shit about the people. And this is exactly who Orange Head loves. Yeah. So the people that are losing their jobs are the idiots that follow Orange Head. You're just like, oh my God, seriously. Yeah. Anyway, getting away from everything as we always do. He's threatened, Alien Head has threatened to ban all Apple devices on his companies, from his companies. And I find it hilarious because he's saying He claims the partnership poses a risk to users' data. What? And you don't? It's like
which partnership is this?
The partnership with AI and Apple.
Do you, can you tell us a bit more about that one?
Yeah, I will.
Cool.
As we go, I'll definitely tell you more about it. So, at Apple's annual Worldwide Development Conference, significant updates to the iOS were announced, including more customization options. And the most notable announcement was the integration of AI into Apple's newest devices through their rebranded Apple Intelligence. But Alienhead has been very upset. And he said, sharing memes and stating he would ban Apple devices from Tesla and his other companies. And the reason, he said, is the main issue is with the decision to integrate OpenAI's ChatGPT software at an OS level. Musk argues that this raises security concerns regarding users' data. I'm like, surely, pot kettle. I mean, honestly, it's the most ridiculous argument I've ever heard. It was revealed that Siri would now include integration into OpenAI's ChatGPT chatbot, which is what we use all the time. This integration allows Siri to answer complex queries using ChatGPT, provided the user grants permissions. Alienhead criticised this move, suggesting that Apple does not fully understand the implications of handing data over to OpenAI. This partnership could jeopardize. This guy owns Starlink and SpaceX. Are you honestly?
And
are
Twitter.
Are you on the same planet?
Of the social media.
Absolutely.
And it's funny how he is opposing Apple's version of AI.
Yeah.
When Twitter scrapes all the tweets using AI to learn and teach its algorithms to do whatever devious thing is coming through his mind. So yeah, like you said, pot kettle black.
No, you're 100% correct. It is just totally ridiculous. Apple's announcement stated that data sent to OpenAI would be protected by several measures, including obfuscating user IP addresses, meaning masking, and ensuring no data is stored on the OpenAI servers. Well, look, I understand the security implications and all the rest of it, but there are so many security implications with, as we just talked about, Twitter and everything else. It's like, really? Honestly?
Yeah.
Anyway, apparently he's got a history with OpenAI. Apparently they've had a bit of a beef for a while. So,
wasn't Musk on the original board or one of the partners in OpenAI with whatever his name is, the current owner? What's his name? Sam Beckman? Is it Sam Beckman? No.
I think it's something like that.
I used to know that.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes,
what was the guy's name? Is it Sam something?
It's not Sam Bankman-Fried. No, that's the that's the dodgy guy. Yeah, the real dodgy guy. No, Sam Altman. But you were spot on.
Sam Altman. There you go.
Sam Altman. But you were spot on about him being a co-founder of OpenAI.
Yeah.
But he later left the company, as he has left most of his companies, because the people that he's with think he's a dickhead.
Yeah. Couldn't work with him.
No, they can't work with him. So that's the only reason he's at Twitter is because he owns it.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was working for someone else, they'd get rid of him as well. And he later sued it, claiming it had strayed from its mission of being open source, developing AI for the benefit of humanity. Musk has had a public feud with OpenAI CEO Sam Altman and also clashed with Apple CEO Tim Cook in the past. So to me, it's just all petty rubbish and it's all completely contradictory, hypocritical conversation and arguments that he's putting forward. And I'm sorry, but none of them cut any mustard. And
exactly,
they do not pass the pub test at all.
Yeah. Hence why I will never, ever, ever own a Tesla.
Yeah, we have dabbled with the idea, and I still think they're a lovely looking vehicle. I really do. But I was actually slightly dabbling in the idea a few weeks ago. I was thinking, maybe Alienhead doesn't own too much of Tesla, but after I've been doing quite a bit of reading over the last few weeks, I'm like, no, can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. It's going to be like puking in my own mouth and just keeping it there for a long time. Can't do it. So, not do that.
Yeah, don't want to touch that.
Sorry for anyone listening at home if you were having your dinner while you were listening to this, but sometimes, sometimes. Anyway, it's all yours, my friend.
Okay, alrighty. Speaking of AI, we're on the AI journey tonight. Australians have a high level of skepticism towards AI-generated news. A global survey by Reuters Institute showed that Australians, 59% of Australians, or the respondents at least, expressed discomfort with news primarily produced by AI.
I would definitely 100% be in that 59%.
Yeah, I'd put myself at 100% being having discomfort against AI-generated news. Because obviously that is just rife to be butchered, manipulated, and all that stuff.
Well, there's a guy on YouTube that does AI Trump.
Okay.
And it's really short. They're always short, and it's totally Orange Head's voice. And he says, and he says the most wonderful things. And he's got it spot on. So it's just like anyone can do it if they want to pay a bit of money for the app. It's not hard to do, and blah blah blah. So it's pretty dangerous stuff. I agree.
Yeah. So Australians were 59% uncomfortable with AI, whereas the global average was 45%. So we're quite far away from the average, which is good to know.
So you're saying the rest of the world's not as uncomfortable getting their news from AI as we are?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay.
Which is quite interesting because Australians are quite quick to jump on new technology and things like that. But I'm glad we're skeptical to this, which is good to know.
Agreed.
Still won't stop Murdoch News disseminating rubbish and lies and things like that.
Total misinformation and crap. Yeah,
exactly. So that was a positive news section of tech and AI. The other one that's a bit concerning for me is Meta, owners of Facebook, Instagram, Messenger.
Fuckaboo.
Exactly. On starting 26th of June, so that's 8 days away. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, but you don't live in the EU, all of your history dating back to 2007 will be scraped as part of the AI learning and for Meta. So yes, either you agree to it. Well, you don't. It's an opt-out. It's not an opt-in.
So you can opt out then? You can opt out.
Yeah, and by opting out means you've got to get rid of your account.
So the only way you can opt down is shut down your Facebook account?
Yeah, pretty much. So you've got 8 days to make a decision, people. Stick with Facebook or get out. It's one of those things that I love being on Facebook because there's lots of groups that I follow because they're of special interests, but I don't go on there to put my daily activities like I've just gone to the shitter and I sat there for half an hour reading news. So I don't do shit like that.
I understand that. I just went to the shitter and didn't have any toilet paper, so I had a Murdoch paper here. Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah, exactly. So have a look at the conditions that are coming in. The new policy.
Okay, so nice work, nice drop on the new Blurt. When are we? I haven't even seen this in the media. I mean,
it did come up a week or two ago, but it's got dropped pretty quickly. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's been very lost. I'm surprised because I would have thought a few people would be talking about it. I mean, seriously, Wow.
Oh, exactly. So our one of our previous guests on the show, Ange Lavoie-Pierre, has an article on this. So it will be in the show notes. So yeah, have a read, have a think about.
Talking about Ange, we definitely should get her back on the show. She's so super busy at the moment, but she's just a wealth of knowledge in this area. She's so good.
She is. Yeah, no, she talks a lot tech stuff at the moment with her new gig that she's doing with the ABC and other platforms. So
she's very good. She might be too busy for us, but
exactly. She did say she'll come back on, but we'll try.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll try. I will definitely try.
Yeah.
But
so that's my little bit on tech this week. I know we're running
beautiful. That was lovely, Wencee. Very, very nice as usual. And that's a show, people. And I'm not going to say the links are in the show notes because I told you that at the start of the show. Because I needed to get that right so that you knew where they were. But anyway, thank you for that, Wencee. Brilliant as usual. I hope you enjoyed the show, everyone. We have a little gift for you before you leave. So when we say bye and Wencee signs off last, there'll be a little gift afterwards. So
looking forward to the gift.
Hang around just for a little minute or two, and there'll be a little video gift. See if you enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. So it's good night from me anyway. Thank you all.
It's good night from me. Bye.
And here we go.
Let's raise a glass, my friend. America is great again. To celebrate the last 4 years, the laughs we've had and many tears, we send off number 45. With names he was called on Jimmy Kimmel Live. There's Trumpa, Stillskin, Troopa Loompa, Donnie Boo Boo, Cheeto Chief, Pumpkin McPorn Humper, Unhappy Gilmore, and Commander in Beef, Mar-a-Lago, Donnie Bone Spurs, Ludacris, El Crappy-Tan, Grandma's Grandpa, Orange Hulk, Harry Poppins, King Tutankhamun, Man, Abraham Lincoln, Mussolini, Typho, Donnie, and Flavio, the Tangerine Twitter Machine, the Hydroxy Horror Picture Show, Orange Julius Caesar, Freddy Krueger, the Mandalorian Dingus Khan, Putin's pee-pee pal, Liger Woods, Regeneron, Lightning Round, Tweety Gonzalez, Kenny Soprano, Q-Don, Dictator Touch, Quid Pro Come Over, Kentucky Fried, Calvariat, Darth Activator, Fanny Lapone, Proper Grandpa, Prisoner-elect, the Lock Her Up Nest Monster, Hungry Hypocrite. Thank God we're finally done with